And the fourth dimension, rather, is the heavenly dimension. The third dimension is the human dimension. Then there is a fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is also a heavenly dimension, or it is the higher heavenly dimension. It is a heavenly dimension that is higher. It is higher in operation. It is higher in power. Not only is it higher, it is actually purer. The fifth dimension is a purer heavenly dimension. The fourth dimension is not pure. It is chaotic. It is like markets. Whereas the fifth dimension is like throne. It's like a throne room. The throne room is not open to just anybody, unlike the fourth dimension. Now, both the fourth and the fifth dimensions are realms of supernatural possibilities. The third dimension, where humans live, is the realm of the reflections of supernatural possibilities. Everything that we see in our world are reflections of things that were made possible in either of the fourth or the fifth dimension. So people want to control realities in the third dimension. In order to control realities, you have to step out of the third into either the fourth or the fifth dimension. So if you don't step out of the third dimension into either of the fourth or the fifth dimension, what you will be experiencing will be effects. It will never be part of the cause, at least consciously. Things are caused in either of the fourth or the fifth dimension. The effect of those causes becomes expressed in the third dimension, in the physical dimension, in the dimension of space, time, and matter. The fourth and the fifth dimension, they are not dimension of space, time, and matter. There's no time in those dimensions. There's no space. There's no matter. Or those dimensions are the dimension that determines what happens. They determine the matters that be. What is matter? Matter is anything that has weight and occupies space. It is from the fourth and the fifth dimension that weight and measures in the third dimension are determined. If you want cancer to melt, you can't melt it while you are trapped in the third dimension. You have to step into either of the fourth or the fifth dimension to command that matter to dissolve. Cancer is a matter. Is something that has weight and occupies space. It is tangible in people's bodies. And then in order for you to dissolve it, because in the third dimension, a cure has not been found for it. But there is a cure for it in the fourth and in the fifth dimension. So to dissolve cancer, you can't stay in the third dimension. In order to cause that dissolution, you have to operate from the fourth or the fifth dimension. To solve witchcraft problem, witchcraft is not caused in the third dimension. What is seen in the third dimension are the effects of witchcraft. Wizardry is not a property of the third dimension. Bewitchment is not a property of the third dimension. What we see in the third dimension are effects of those things that are coming from other dimensions. So what we see are shadows of things that exist in other dimensions. Everything you see around you, things that people call possibilities or impossibilities, achievements, breakthroughs, calamities, wars, rumors of wars, issues in families, curable and incurable sicknesses, divorce, handicaps, all those things, they are shadows. The substance or substances of those things exist outside of this dimension. So if you want to change the shadow, you have to change the substance. It is from the fourth and the fifth dimensions, the realities cast shadows into the third dimension. So everything we see around us. In fact, when you talk about wars and rumors of wars, banditry, etc., people are trying, governments, politicians, nations are trying to solve that problem by third dimensional thinking. Whereas that problem is an existence in another dimension that is casting shadow into time and space. So to solve the problem, imagine trying to kill a man by stabbing the shadows. It was very stupid. You want to kill a man, and the only thing you can do is to look for a cutlass, a machete, and you are macheting the shadows. You know you will grow old doing that, and the man will not die. Will just be moving. As the shadow is moving, you know the man is alive. How do you kill the man? You don't strike the shadow. Strike the man and the shadow will disappear. All the problems that we see in this world, they are shadows. The men or the bodies that are casting those shadows, they don't live in this dimension. So you have to step into another dimension to destroy the entities that are casting evil shadows into the dimensions of time and space. Why did you think the Bible says you live by faith and not by sight? By faith, we'll see other dimensions. By sight, we'll see this dimension. And if by faith you can see solutions, or you can institute solutions from the other dimensions, then your sight will see the effect of the solutions in this dimension. It's important that we note that. Now, you know the fourth dimension. People have called it the dimension of possibilities, where there are no impossibilities, which is true. However, it is a heavenly dimension. It is a realm in the heavenlies. And when I say heavenlies now, I'm not talking about the skies, just the skies, not really just the skies. There's a way that we could connect things about the skies, but it is more an understanding than it is about planetary bodies or geography or whatever, or the atmospheric levels and stratas. The fourth dimension is a dimension of possibilities. From the fourth dimension, anything is possible. The only challenge is, from the fourth dimension, both the good and the evil are possible. It is a realm of possibilities that is open to both angels and demons.